Fine. You're good. Okay, we're on.
We'll talk about
Good
that later.
evening and welcome to the Georgetown School Committee meeting of Thursday, December 4th, 2014. If we could please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes regular session minutes of November 20th, 2014. Sorry. I know, I was looking at the wrong agenda. Sorry. The approval of public relations minutes of November 13th, 2014, and acceptance of warrants number 21V15, number 23V15, 22P15, and 24P15.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Hi, Vanessa, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So in school right now, we're just getting back into the swing since we just had our Thanksgiving break. But right before break, we had our successful pep rally.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. The pie eating was pretty clean this year for Mr. Lucia.
Oh, that was pretty clean. Oh, my gosh.
It didn't get on the ground. So we're
No, that's
good.
true. It didn't get on the ground.
And why for him?
He
He was the
doesn't-
judge.
He was the
Oh,
judge.
I thought you meant like he cleans it.
Oh no.
Final judge.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, I had to be one of the judges, and I wouldn't consider it clean, let me just say that.
Yeah.
But you're
I saw
right, it wasn't on the
judge.
floor.
And we also just had our chorus concert yesterday, which was awesome.
It's beautiful.
Excellent performance,
Oh,
very
thank you.
lovely.
And we also have our band concert, I think, coming up next week, and then the
Tuesday,
middle
yeah.
school concerts will be the following few weeks too. And also, right now, Key Club is doing a mittens and hat drive. They're gonna go and bring them to an area that sends them off to people that will need them. So it's like we'll put them underneath the little Christmas tree that they'll bring in. So
Oh, so people just can purchase or make
Yep.
mittens and hats.
You're looking for new mittens and hats?
yeah, I think like new or only slightly used.
Gently used?
Yeah.
With some dignity left in them.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
That's
Yes.
nice.
So
Great.
we're getting ready for that.
The Thanksgiving football game,
Oh
We
yeah,
won.
we,
Oh, yeah,
we
that's
won.
very
that was awesome.
exciting.
that was great.
Yes.
Mhm.
I didn't attend, but I heard it was great.
Whose cleats are hanging from the new goalposts? Are those the
Someone
seniors?
was pointing them out, and I didn't see them until like it was at school looking at lunch today.
I was over,
They do that every time they win.
was it the seniors? Whose cleats are they? Yeah, that's what I figured.
Their cleats.
So the new goalposts have these
Already have
six
cleats
or
on
six
them.
or seven cleats on them. Yeah.
Working on getting those removed.
Well,
And
that's
back to
okay.
their rightful owners, because those are expensive.
You know,
cleats.
yes, they are expensive.
Oh, that's fine. Well, that's good. I'm so glad that they won.
Oh, it was very exciting.
That's good. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you. Oh, and that was your last chorus concert.
The last winter chorus concert.
Oh, was there a
We
spring?
have one in March, and then we have a Pops concert, and then
Oh, so you have plenty.
we have Disney too, so we'll be good.
I'm going to
And
Disney.
actually,
I can't wait.
Mrs. Laflamme and I are working on, the superintendents have a, well, it's called the Superintendent's Roundtable, but it's all of the superintendents and assistant superintendents in the area, as far down as like Swampscott and up to Amesbury, and that they have an annual luncheon people can bring their administrative assistants, and just a nice social, gathering, and we always have a school that brings, an ensemble of kids that entertain, they have entertainment for a half hour, so they provide a little holiday, concert. And this year Georgetown's going to do it, so we're trying to figure out who's
great.
gonna go
She
and how
asked
we're
the
gonna do
seniors
that.
about it
Yeah,
today in
yeah.
Corral.
So it'd be great. It's a great way to feature the programs. I mean, everybody I've seen, previously, it's just been, so great to see the kind of talent that the kids have. And, obviously, I'm excited about Georgetown because, they'll blow everybody away too. So it'll be,
That's great.
It'll be great. But I wanted you to know we are working on trying to get that to happen. That's next Friday at the Essex Tech.
Oh, that's good. Okay, is there anyone here from the public that wants to talk about anything on the agenda? No? Okay, Chris DeFranco? Hi.
Hi, how's everyone?
Very good.
Congratulations to you.
So I
It was
put,
so
I
nice.
put the article from the record
Oh.
about your award, Chris.
But I
and-
saw it
That's
before you
fantastic.
even mentioned
Did
it
you?
to us. I saw it in the paper. That's Chris.
Actually, I haven't
only
read
know
it
you
yet,
as the
so-
athletic director. I didn't realize you also taught.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a history teacher.
So how do you get nominated for that?
I guess the long and short of it is Mr. Lucia nominated me.
Nice.
That was a good choice.
And then I think there were 6 teachers from Massachusetts that got it
Yes.
this year,
Yep.
so
Wow.
That's great.
That's great.
Nice to put on your
Congratulations.
resume.
Very exciting.
I don't need to build my resume.
That's good. He's happy
That's
with
good.
where he is,
That's
right?
good.
That's the right one.
Excellent.
It's the right answer,
a good thing
Chris.
to show
That's
your
the right
kid.
answer.
Not concerned with that now. Good.
But actually, I will say, I do every year. I go on some sort of a summer teaching program, and things like that do help me get into those programs. So
Oh, that's great.
hopefully, I'll be going somewhere fun. All right, so I'm here for the fall sports recap, and it was a really good fall. We'll just kind of run through. So golf, this was their second full year as a program, and they got their first win ever. So that was really nice. It was on their senior day. It was versus Pentucket, which is kind of fitting because Pentucket was our old host school. So it was really nice that we got our first win against them. Kyle Nelson was named first team All-Star. Robert Long was named second team All-Star. And Kyle Nelson moved on to the state tournament where he did really well. He almost made the cut to move on to the next level. So he did awesome. There used to be a thing called All League in the Cape Ann League, and they've changed the name. So now it's first team All-Star, second team All-Star. So it used to be All League and All-Star. So that's where that terminology is coming from. Yeah. Cheering had a great season. They finished second at the Cal meet, and as far as we know, that's the first time in school history that we've finished second in the Cal for fall. And they moved on to regionals. The Cape Ann League decided to give their All-Stars to every member of the team, so they took it as a team award instead of an individual award, which I thought was really fitting given all that they went through this year. And it was
Actually, they went to the wake for Cam Coy.
on the day
And
of.
then went right from there to the competition and finished second.
Wow.
So not only did they have to manage their emotions, but they had to just, fight through it, and they finished second.
It was an amazing performance. And then I think probably the most impressive thing, when in the fall we do a captain's workshop, which Vanessa was part of. And one of the things we talked about at the end was we want to do something in October with cancer awareness and raise some money. And the cheer team really spearheaded that with Dana Farber. But every team really contributed to that in some way. We bought pink socks, and the monies from that actually went towards this. And then they did a buzzathon where residents at Georgetown and students and even Mr. Prescott and myself got our heads shaved.
Mike Anderson brought his little boy, and got his hair.
Yeah, and they're actually, it ends tomorrow, but they have raised over $11,000 now for Dana
In,
Farber.
in one,
That's
I mean,
amazing.
one
Really
day's,
incredible.
eight of it was in the
8,000
one
was
day,
in one
right?
day, yeah.
That's impressive.
I mean, think about all the organizations that spend months planning a single event and make that much money.
Yeah, so it's
That
been
was
a great effort.
That was a great effort.
Yeah. Football, they finished 3-7 overall, and Thanksgiving was, as we had talked about, awesome. They finished 26-14 over Manchester Essex. They had 2 first-team All-Stars, Cooper Martins and Nick DiPasquale, and Jacob Myers was a second-team All-Star. They also got the Cape Ann Lake Sportsmanship Award. And there actually has been a change in how they do the Sportsmanship Award, so it actually means even a little bit more now. It used to sort of be whoever finished last got it, and a lot of people looked at it as like sort of a loser award. And they don't do it that way anymore. They actually, after every game, the coaches have to rate the team they played for their sportsmanship. And it's either, neutral, they get 1 point. Positive, so something really specific happened, plus 2 points, and then if there's a negative experience, it's a minus 1 point, and they actually add up the totals. So when they added up the totals, the football team did win that award. So it really has some meaning behind it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And you'll see there's a few other sportsmanship
proud
awards too.
of.
Yeah. Boys soccer finished 5-10-3 with Ryan Slack being named first team All-Star. Kyle Dunleavy and Alex Bornholt were second team. field hockey finished 2-14-2 with Vanessa Viborski being named first team All-Star
Congratulations.
and Molly Janelle being named second team All-Star.
That's my
Cross country, whose banquet we actually just came from,
Yes, I know.
had one of the best seasons in school history. It was the first, Coach Macy said it was the first multi-win season for the boys and the girls combined. So it was the first time that that's happened possibly ever. So that both teams.
I was saying to Chris, 8 years ago, I remember there were like 8 or 9 boys on the cross-country team.
Yeah.
And now he's got more than a full team of boys, and he's built a really good girls program
Yeah.
too. I mean, it's just amazing how that program has grown. But Brian Macy's, I think, is an exemplary coach. So, I'm not surprised. And I often say that his banquet is always one of the more interesting ones for me because I'm always struck by the amount of camaraderie on the team. Like they are tight, and they're just it's just so great to see. But I think that starts with the coach.
One of the stories they were telling at the banquet tonight was Chantel Lampert, who's a senior. Her first year running, there were 3 girls on the team. And
Yeah.
this year, I think there's about 12 of them.
Yeah.
So, to go
I
from,
mean, they have a viable girls
Yeah,
team
Yes.
now.
That's great.
and we added a middle school team this year, which was really
Right.
successful. So we were able to open all the way up to 6th grade. So that was
Right.
a big help for them.
And they were playing. They always had the meets out behind Pembroke, and of course, the construction they couldn't. So they've been at Denison, which they.
Oh, the middle school was at Denison. The varsity was actually at Winnikinny Castle.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
didn't know
hands
that.
on.
Oh.
I didn't realize that.
Nice
But,
area.
but I was just talking to Mr. Macy's today. I mean, he's really interested in getting back to Pembroke, and maybe mapping out a new course. So I said, well, in the spring when the building gets turned over, go on over and check it out. Maybe we can set it up in such a way that it's better for spectators. It really wasn't very conducive
No.
necessarily for spectators, and he's really interested in. He gets a lot of people at his meets, but he'd like them to be able to watch, at strategic places around the field. So we'll see, we'll see. But it's really a viable program now, where it was
That's
fledgling, several years ago.
And the boys, once they stepped into the state meet, they're Division 6, and they did awesome. The boys finished 9th out of 30, and the girls finished 12th out of 24. So running in the Cape Ann League can be really, really tough for them because it's big schools. But, once they get out of that, they do a really, really good job. So that was awesome. They also won the Sportsmanship Award, so that's another sportsmanship award. Girls soccer had a banner season. So they finished 11-6-6, and they won the MIA Division 4 North Championship. So there will be a banner going up.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
They really were good.
Lots of individual awards for them. Jen Migliaccio got first team Cal All-Star. She also got Eastern Mass All-Star, which is sort of a state recognition. Jensina Moner, Jen Killian, Johanna Casson, and Molly Swanton were second team All-Stars, and they also took the Cal Sportsmanship Award. And again, that shows, I think they were second place in the Cape Ann League to, it's not a loser award anymore,
Oh,
so
no.
that was really cool. We also did have our co-op volleyball team get off the ground, and kind of it grew too fast. So they actually they're not going to renew the co-op with Georgetown or Pentucket. So we're going to be looking to actually start our own next year. And we're starting to get into the initial phases with the gym renovation that's going on. We're talking about putting a volleyball net in there, and we'd actually have the numbers to support that. So
So how many of our kids were on the co-op?
we ended up with 3.
3?
Yeah, we originally had, I think, 5 or 6, and some actually either got cut or didn't make varsity, and so they sort of decided not to play. So originally we thought we were going to have maybe 15 kids between the 3 schools, and they ended up having almost 50 kids. So, yeah, so
Because there's a real interest in the
Yeah.
sport.
It's a fast-growing sport.
so we think between ourselves and Pentucket we can put together a pretty good team that's not too big, and will be inclusive. So we still have to work the details out of that, but they did win the Cal Sportsmanship Award, so we were part of that.
And it's girls and boys.
It's a girls' sport in the fall. It's a boys' sport in the spring.
Okay.
There isn't a spring boys team, so boys are allowed to play on the fall team, but they have to play under girls' rules. So there's a few differences to that. It's similar to a boy can play in the field hockey team, which I'm sure you've seen, or a girl can play in the football team.
Did you
You've seen that?
face?
You played
I have a
against?
coach that actually played for Amesbury High School in his day, so
But did you encounter that, Vanessa, in your years here?
I
in
played
other
at
teams?
not at Georgetown, but I play on a club team.
Yeah.
We went to a tournament at Smith College, and there was 4 boys on a team I played against.
Yeah.
That was a lot. It was very different to see, but they were really good.
Yeah,
Oh, I bet.
strong, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. So
Very good.
boys would be allowed to play, but it is considered a girls' sport.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And then just sort of our overall numbers, our numbers were way up,
I know, they
273 athletes, which was, and I didn't even include the 3 in the co-op, so 276 athletes, up from 217 in 2013. And we thought last year was a really good year for numbers, so it just went up. And I think a big part of that was the middle school cross country being added. We also added middle school soccer for the first time, probably in 4 or 5 years.
You know, how was that?
It did all right. We ended up with 18 kids on the team. The thing that I'm a little worried about is next year we're not going to have a 6th grade anymore. So we're going to have to kind of look at that with all of our middle school sports and see if they're still viable without a 6th grade in the school. So that'll be a discussion for a future.
Right, and that's co-ed.
That was co-ed, yeah. And then football numbers were way up. We had almost 50 kids in football this year. So,
Wow.
yeah,
That's kind of against a national trend.
I know.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were freshmen and 8th graders, believe it
Yeah,
or not. So.
yeah. He doesn't have that
And
many
how,
seniors.
how did we do
5?
with injuries?
There were a decent. So the freshmen,
very
the freshmen and
concerned
8th
about
graders
football
don't really
players
play
and-
in the varsity game. There were a couple that did from the freshmen. No 8th graders play in the varsity, so they play against other freshman teams. So it's pretty safe as far as the competitive level goes. We did have some injuries. I mean, in football you have injuries every year, so
Right.
yeah.
But there
Are
was
we-
one year, a couple of years ago, there were
A
like
lot,
a lot.
yeah.
Like, I'm gonna
Like
say
a
like
broken leg. And
5 or 7
yeah,
concussions. I
that's-
mean, it was, but
But
that
that's
wasn't
to
the
be
case
expected.
this year.
We did have a lot of concussions this
Oh,
year.
you did? Okay.
But
And
it kind of
during-
goes with the game,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Did the JV and the varsity ever practice together? Was it?
They do practice together, but we like seniors don't hit freshmen, that sort of thing. So they go up against kids that are the same.
So they know that they're not
Right.
supposed to?
Yeah.
Okay. And are we getting new helmets, did I hear?
We're working. I have a meeting on Monday with Leahy Clinic,
Mm-hmm.
and they are, from what I hear, and I haven't met with them yet, but they're offering free helmets, which are like the top of the line. But there are some contingencies to it, so we have to really look and see if it makes sense for both sides.
But we
Okay.
did get new helmets, didn't we?
We get new helmets
Yeah.
every year. Yeah, we do a reconditioning process, so every helmet gets certified every year, and we do add new helmets every year and replace the older ones. But this would be all brand new helmets. So
Okay. Now, do we have weights? Do we have like training?
absolutely, yeah, we have a weight room.
And is the weight room like supervised for younger kids?
Yeah, so for the athletes to go in there, it has to be supervised by an adult.
All the time?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So numbers were up. Academic eligibility, which I was just looking through my notes from last year, was a concern last year. This year it wasn't. Every athlete, remained eligible throughout. And as part of the Cape Ann League, something I still have to do, we have to calculate team GPAs.
Oh, really?
It's part of the, it's called the Highland Award, and it's basically like the best Cape Ann League school of the year. And they haven't done the award in a few years, and they're just starting to bring it back. That's where the sportsmanship thing came from, and so I have to do the team GPAs, and I know they'll be high. The last time we did one, it was field hockey, and they were like really, really high. So I think we'll be okay there, but that's coming. And winter's up and running. Basketball was going when I left the school. Wrestling was just getting out. Our ski team's up and running. So cheers going.
How are the numbers looking for the ski team?
The ski team numbers could be better.
Yeah. I saw that was advertised on the.
Yeah, it's a JV sport, which is good. But to get to the varsity level, we really need more kids. We have 6 girls and 3 boys right now. So if you're
And
watching,
You need how many? You need how many? I mean,
we'd like to have 10 and 10. That would be ideal. You need 6 to race.
Enrollment is still open.
It's still open,
Do
absolutely.
we have a price yet?
So we're charging the $375 user fee, which is our minimum, and then they have to pay for their own lift tickets, which are $17 a day. So, but they only meet twice a week over at Bradford, so it's reasonable.
Okay.
for skiing, I
For
guess,
skiing,
right? It's- I
yeah.
mean, it's like hockey, right?
Right.
It's an expensive sport.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
And do you think the winter sports numbers are looking good?
They're good, yeah. The
Awesome.
basketball numbers are great. The wrestling numbers are up. Cheer numbers are up. So yeah, we're moving in the right direction.
I know on the positive note of cross country, one of our cross country players from last year, Tom Mulligan, went to Westfield State, and he did really well in a race recently. I saw him post about it.
Oh, neat.
He's doing really well.
Oh, he is
So he
so
went on-
fast.
He
So
is
he went
like
on to-
crazy fast. Yeah.
He is. It's like bionic man fast.
I was just talking to actually, it wasn't a sport, but Cole Martin's, remember Cole? I was just talking to his mom at the banquet the other night, and she was saying that Cole's in an a cappella group at UMass Amherst,
They're singing
and
at
they're
the White
singing
House.
at the White House. So he's not, she said, not outside the White House, in the White House.
That's
So,
wow.
yeah, so
That's
many of our
exciting.
alumni are experiencing
great.
some really cool stuff.
He has a great voice.
He's beautiful
Yeah.
voice.
I think their warm up was the Radio City.
City Music Hall, yep, she said that, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
so he's really, UMass Amherst is offering him a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And Chris's daughter is our mascot, official mascot.
Yeah.
She comes to everything, and the football banquet the other night, I was just telling him, he was holding her, the whole banquet, she just looked around at the lights. He kept thinking she was gonna go to sleep, no such luck. She came to the pep rally, fell
I
asleep,
know,
but,
that was awesome.
That's funny.
it's really
Adorable.
fun to
She's
see
adorable.
Mackenzie at our games, and she's so flexible, it's unbelievable. And Chris is a great dad.
Yeah, just you wait till she's walking. She won't
I
be
know.
that easy,
Oh, I don't know.
right?
I found up to 12 months they were fine. I mean,
Yeah.
You can go to restaurants.
Go
but
out to
after
dinner
that,
now.
But the girls, I shouldn't say the girls, like, the kids all enjoy seeing
Oh,
her, they
sure.
look forward to her, so. It's nice for the kids to see a good role model in Chris as a dad. It is.
I
Take
know.
care of his little girl.
You do a great job.
Thank you.
You know I appreciate that. So thank you. I look forward to the winter
Yeah, I did too.
follow-up.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Congratulations again on the award.
Yes. Okay. The Land Rush fundraiser.
So I put it in your packet here.
Yep.
I had a visit from Reg Tardif, and he and the Knights of Columbus are trying, I've seen this done with cows, but what they're planning to do, and this, in order to get as many groups involved in this as possible, and so I think it would be great if there were, classes or something at the middle high school would want to, I did speak to Anthony Messina about it, because I know they're still trying to raise money for their uniforms, but how it works is that people purchase a deed, which I included for your review, and it's $10 a ticket, but the group that sells the ticket gets $4 of that. So, their goal there is to get as many people to participate and sell as many tickets as possible, but actually for a fundraising group, that's not a bad deal. That for every $10 ticket, you get 4 of it back for your interest in what you're fundraising for. So, because students might be soliciting students and all of that, there may be some exchange during the day, I'm bringing it forward for you. I told them they didn't need to come, that we could just discuss it. But it's, as you can see, it's got all the details, even how the awarded person wins, based on, where the sheep, deposits its stuff. So, it sounds kind of funny, they're gonna do it in the, I said, where do you do it? He said, out behind the Knights of Columbus, they'll take spray paint, and they'll, depending on how many deeds they sell, they'll literally, make that number of squares, and then they'll run their contest. So, anyway, I thought it was something that we should support, not because, just because I think that they've got some prize money at the end, you can see that. But, it's pretty self-explanatory, but because, they would maybe be soliciting during the school day, I'm bringing it to your attention. And then I'm not sure what the best way to get this information out to the students, the groups and this, the staff. But, again, there may be a, I don't know, National Honor Society or Key Club or some group that wants to participate in it.
You're talking to the right person. I run a lot of the clubs at the school.
Okay, oh, I am, okay, well, there you go. So maybe, you could, talk this up?
Yep.
And then all I would need to do would be to let the Knights know how many deeds you want. So if you do, speak to people and say, and, whatever clubs wanna do it, I just need to know, and I'll put you in touch with
Okay.
the right person.
Sounds good.
But it is taking place for the community if they are interested in going and watching it. I've seen this done in the summer, and people make a whole day of it. They bring their picnics and all that. I don't think you're gonna do that on January 11th. But, it's just kind of interesting, and I think when they've done it in the past, it's been well received, so.
I'm sure it has. Are these privately owned sheep?
No, the sheep, are actually, Alan Olson's sheep.
Oh, okay, all right. I just wanna make sure that sheep are gonna be okay with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know where the sheep come from or where the sheep go
Yeah,
after
no,
this.
it's actually, Alan donates his,
Okay, all right.
the
If
use of
they're
his
his
sheep.
sheep, then that sounds fine.
they are.
Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion to approve the Georgetown Public School participation in the Knights of Columbus fundraiser as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I wish them much luck.
Yes. I am concerned about animal welfare. I just
Of
wanna
course,
Check it out.
Yeah.
Good
Oh,
question.
the Olsons love animals. I don't think they.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
that's-
That's right.
The sheep are literally gonna graze. They're literally gonna walk around. and-
Love sheep. I love sheep. They're
They probably
adorable.
provide them
I
plenty
actually
of
had a
food.
dog named Sheep once.
Right. Did he have an identity crisis?
Yes, I think so.
Confusion?
He looked like a sheep.
Did he bark?
He was a very good
Let's
dog, may he
move
rest
on.
in peace. Good sheep.
Okay.
Okay, no school reports.
Financial. Oh, no, Wes. Nope, Wes is here.
We have Wes Bond here. Thank you
Ah,
for
Wes,
coming
we
up.
almost forgot you.
Looking forward to listening to this. Thank you.
Coming, Chris?
Anytime. Okay, where do you want me to begin?
Talk
Typical
about the
classroom.
new Pembroke first.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about. I've got it pretty much ironed out as far as fitting the budget technology that we're going to get for the new school. Right now we're considerably under budget, so we have some wiggle room if anything comes higher than it is right now. But a typical classroom, like I have on the sheet, grade K will have, every teacher will have an Airbook, MacBook Air, like they do at the high school, and an iPad to go along with it, an interactive whiteboard, so that which they have now. We're using 28 of those, and for the ones that we do not have coverage for, we're putting interactive projectors in. We've experimented with a couple of them. They're much better than they used to be, so they do work as well as the smartboard does. I've had teachers use them, and they've been fine with it. So we're going to get those in, and that's going to be for the balance of the classroom. So K through 2 will have the reused smartboards with a refurbished projector. The projectors that are on now are not adequate, so we're going to replace those with much better projectors than they had. And some of the special,
And that's important,
yeah, very important.
because a lot of the parents, particularly those that donated the smart boards, have been wondering
Mm-hmm.
what's gonna, and the GEF and the PTA, have been
What's gonna
wondering
happen to
what's
all
gonna
this?
happen to those. So we are using every single one of them, either at the new Pembroke, or Donna Strait is actually taking a
She's
couple
taking
of them to the middle high school for some of the special education
great.
classrooms.
That's great.
Yeah. So K through 2 will have those, plus the special ed classrooms will have the older ones, because we figured that having the touch was more important to them than it would be for the upper grades. So the upper grades with 3 through 6 will have the interactive whiteboards, which basically, instead of your finger, you use a pen. But you can have 2 people using the pen at the same time, so there's 2 people can be up at the board working at the same time. So it makes it a little more impressive. In those classrooms, there'll also be a station of 5 iPads. So that the students, when they rotate from their station to station, one of them will be a technology station in which they will have the use of iPads for individual uses. So we're gonna have 5 of those in each classroom in K
And that's
through
also for
3rd.
intervention. So if
Yep.
we need students who need small group intervention, they don't have to go to a lab, or,
Right.
you know, it's right
Right
there in the classroom.
We also are going to have so all students can have, when they need to have access to an iPad, we're gonna have an iPad cart that'll be mobile and be available for all the classrooms. And we're gonna reuse the current MacBook Pro cart for use in the school, in the classroom as well. So there'll be plenty of devices for the students to use in K through 4. We're also gonna have one iMac lab, which will be in the media center, and that'll be 30 units. And we have a 30-unit PC lab on the 3rd floor. So there'll be stationary labs for doing testing, and when a classroom wants to bring students into a more robust computer lab, they'll have two choices to doing that, as well as the MacBook Pro lab. So there's again, it's to increase the amount of technology per student. We were able to, with a budget for grades 5 and 6, have a one-to-one in-class iPad. So that would be
Every student.
iPad for every student in the class at all times. So there will be, integration technology is going to be larger in the 5th and 6th grade
Is
classroom.
there a training component that needs to happen with
We have to
this
do
for the
some-
faculty? Yeah.
Yes. We're trying to free up Mary Ann Frevel for doing some of that in the classroom and helping teachers develop curricula that'll work with the iPads. We also have an outside consultant that we can use, and I found another one. So there's two of them that we have
Great.
access to. So professional development has to be a large proportion of
Sure.
what we're going to do next year.
I mean, don't they just need to be trained on how
Oh,
to use
there's
the
no
building
question. No
in
question.
general? There's so much technology in the building, right?
Oh, yeah, because there's a new, in the construction is a full video
Yeah.
program that's just amazing what that's capable of doing. That's capable of importing high definition Discovery Channel materials. There'll be ability to they can make their own movies. There'll be editing they'll be able to do. They'll be able to port that through all the school and all the classrooms, because they'll be able to port it through their smart board projectors, or through the TVs that are throughout the building. So that has an amazing amount of capabilities. Can't wait to get my hands on that.
We've been talking about technology for the new Pembroke for a long
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
internally. And, it was great, but, wasn't everybody was not in agreement often. But when you listen to what people were concerned about, one, we were looking at a combination of iPads and not netbooks, no, Chromebooks. Because we were thinking, we want to use the iPad information for creativity and, graphic design, it's better for that. But on the other hand, we were worried about word processing and, kids' exposure to, technology that's not Apple. But then we started to talk about, what did we really want to accomplish? And we wanted to look K-12. So when we look at what we had in place prior, Donna had purchased a lot of good quality Apple products. And, Apple, in many ways in education, is the way to go. Peter's been very interested in, Apple TV and the apps and all of that as well. So we just gave the teachers their Apple
Right,
computers. So now we've got the consistent, across the board, every teacher in the district will have the same
same platform,
the same
right.
platform, the same two computers, the MacBook and then the iPad. So that was important to us. Then the second thing that was important to us was the issue of accessibility to something like programs like Word, which are very consistent.
Yes.
So now, based on what we're learning about the computers we're buying, we can actually buy a license to have Word on all the computers. So that took care of that concern. Because before it was like, well, that's why we're going with Chromebooks, and they're not Chromebooks, that was Google Docs. But that we were looking at wrestling with, well, the iPad doesn't do that for us. Well, now that the iPad can do that for us. Then the other thing we were wrestling with is the issue of, iPads are, not, the way people keyboard is all over the place. And so what Wes was able to find was these keyboards that are very appropriate, that are not highly priced. So in everything placed but the kindergarten, I think, right? We said we were going to, all the computers that we were buying, or all the iPads we were buying, we'd get a keyboard for. So it took us a while to get there, but that took that kind of debate, was like, well, what's the
Great.
stumbling block here? So the plan would be to do this at the Pembroke. We've got the teachers' information in place at the high school, and then the next step would be, what are we going to do about are we doing a bring your own? Are we doing a one-to-one? What are we gonna do at the high school? Because that will be all we'll have left to worry about.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that will bring us in line with the K-12
That's great.
vision.
Exactly. Yeah, they're full-size Bluetooth keyboard that I found for $120. We can now fit the iPads very easily with those. They're the right size so that keyboarding can be taught without having to do a scrunchy key
Sure.
iPad keyboards like most of them are. So we can get a regular case, and then when they need to do keyboarding, they bring the keyboard in, turn it on, it's associated with that iPad and away it goes. And so that works very, very well.
That's great.
And you can get Word on there.
Yes.
Word, and we can also, we can use either Google Docs or Word, doesn't matter, either
Right,
one
there's-
is
there's-
interchangeable, and there's apps for both. So 3 months ago, there wasn't apps for both, now there are apps for both, so we have a choice. That's why the
Amazing
iPad,
how
we
fast
went
everything
towards the
changes.
iPad, because now we have total functionality on the iPad that we didn't have before, and it makes all the
Remember
difference
I
in the
told you
world.
about that when I first heard it? Yeah.
So now we're not introducing, at one stage in the system, Chromebooks,
Right,
so now
right.
we can stick with one and have it meet our needs.
Nice when technology giants play well together.
Again,
And not always the case, right?
yeah, yeah. Also, the school will be able to implement, every classroom will be able to do it with wireless, because we'll have wireless ability for that. And we have the backbone being built into the system where they'll have no issues with connectivity at all that I can foresee at this point in time. And with Verizon, it was able to bring actual fiber into the building, so there'll be a fiber connection into that building as well. So there'll be any speed from 75 megabytes to 300 megabytes we can have in the school. So we have upgradability in that respect too.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I think we're all feeling really,
Yeah, it's exciting.
solid on this. I think we,
That's great.
We're developing a plan we'll be able to
Yeah.
work with.
and everybody contributed to the discussion, and, I think everybody was enriched by the debate,
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Glad to hear it.
And Wes did a lot of legwork. He listened to all sides of it and said, "Oh, gee, I can get a keyboard." And if keyboard's a problem, then no problem, I can do that. So I think
Great.
his tenacity in terms
Yeah,
of
and-
listening to what everybody felt was important, and then being able to assure people it could be done.
And then the last piece of the phone system, we're working on that. We're trying to work with a town-wide situation where the whole town will be on the same system. And we're just
nice.
waiting for confirmation who wants what for a brand. And there's way too many brands. I've seen enough telephone systems in the last 3 months I'm tired of looking at telephone
Yeah.
systems, so. It'll probably, because E-rate changed, it'll be an on-premise system instead of a cloud-hosted phone system, but, that's just the way it goes with the way things are changing with the E-rate program. We'll still be able to do internet, but phone and web pages are no longer available with that, so we'll lose that 40% discount. But we will still be able to get it for the others.
So we just updated the high school phone.
Right.
That's a Band-Aid. That'll
Was it
make it
Band-Aid?
through this
Yeah.
year.
But I had thought that the money
That-
that went into it, we were thinking we could,
We could move to
Pearl-
Pearly.
Early.
that will still be the case.
That's still planned, yes.
Good.
And, we had a meeting in my office with Wes and Red Kelly, who's the technology consultant, and Mike Farrell. And, Wes and, because I wanted everybody to be working together, and Wes and Red have really,
Yeah, I think we've
connected.
got it going in the right
They've
direction.
got it, they're
Yeah.
definitely going in the right direction, and now really there is gonna be a plan to do the phone system with the
Yep,
town.
yep.
There's $88,000 that was appropriated, I don't know if you remember the discussion about that, but there was $88,000, which we thought was going to be for the school phones, and then it turned out that, it just didn't turn out that it was going to happen. There, the discussion went in a different direction at the town level, and, so it's kinda sitting there. So
Yeah, we're trying to
putting,
get
everybody
that
putting
worked
their
out.
heads together, they might be able to figure out a way so that, we finally will be able to be on a system that talks to each other.
And that's good for security reasons too. It just makes it so much easier. 911, the alerts can go to everybody. So
That's great.
being on the same system, there's no disparity. We can just dial it in the way it goes. And so that's kind of important too. There's a lot of new security built in that building. It's kind of neat, but it's scary at the same time. Why do we need that in school? But, fortunately today we do. So,
So the teachers must be excited for this. Are they all aware of what's
No,
gonna?
I don't think they're all,
not totally aware.
Okay.
I've been hinting.
well, part of,
Okay.
the decisions we're making, we don't wanna roll them out till we have the information.
Yeah, the plan's gotta be there. If you do it before the plan's there and you change your plan, then you get people, they upset the apple cart.
Well, I'm sure they're,
They'll be very,
they're
They're
knowing that they're
extremely
gonna get
excited about
something
going to
good,
school, yeah.
but
I think they're excited about the new technology that they're going to get. I mean, everybody understands for
State of
years
the
we
art.
had no technology, right? So we've made leaps and bounds, but at the same time, this is the sort of grand finale of, although there's efforts, and thank goodness, all of those organizations contributed and bought the parents that donated the machines, and, the GEF and PTA and any other group that contributed to it. Because they did that, we can come in under budget, because the formula is $1,200 a student. So that's what you get. You don't get a dime more. And by being able to, reuse these things, and like with a slight upgrade, like to upgrade the projector, it's like having a new smart board. And smart boards are more expensive than the interactive
Interactive projectors
projectors.
are less than half.
Yeah, but they
just the
still
functionality.
meet the same. The only thing is you don't touch it, right?
You touch it with a pen instead of your
yeah,
finger.
pen.
I looked at the ones that you can touch with your finger, but you'll lose too much of your surface area.
Right,
to-
so we
to purchase
figured the
those.
way we decided, we said, the smart classroom in this school looks like the teacher has the 2 computers, the students have access in the classroom to 5 computers in every classroom. And then on top of that, there are the portable labs. And then there are the fixed labs in the library that students would have accessibility on. And then there'll be the Elmos. All the classrooms now have Elmos. Those will all be put into the classroom, and they'll either have a smart board or an interactive whiteboard. And then on top of, basically that's the structure of the smart classroom. But it'll allow us to do intervention groups within the classroom setting. It'll allow, and then one-to-one at the 5th and 6th to allow complete integration of technology, in the classroom. I think we have been able to cover all of our bases. I think we all feel good about, where this is going. So now, if this decision gets final, it goes back to the technology consultants who bid it out. Wes did a great job on figuring all the budget stuff, so he figured all that out, and I'm happy to hear we're under budget, because we were skating pretty close there for
Yeah,
a
it was
minute.
bad for a while.
We're like $50,000 over, we're like, oh, what do we, but then they said, well, once it comes in through the bids, it can come in less, so you figured it out.
I've got
before
enough,
we
I got
even
enough
had
wiggle
it.
room, so go either way, we'll still be fine.
Right, so there may be, one of the things I asked, Donna Straight and Wes to talk about is assistive technology, because we really don't have the appropriate amount of assistive technology. We get it when we need to, but we should have some things just available, so if we have students who move in or need them. So if there's, a little extra money left, then that would be a good thing. Or there's certain apps we wanna make sure everybody has, we'll have some money, to purchase the apps.
If there's budget, we'll find a way to use it properly.
That's great.
There's a lot of assistive technology, and the interactive projectors have a stand that we can stick on the table and get the special ed department the actual working interactive table they can use.
Yes.
Which is better than, which a student can actually sit at the table and manipulate manipulatives and away they go, so it's pretty exciting. Because an actual interactive table is about $5,000 with the stand and the projector. I got another quote yesterday, and it was well under $2,000. So that makes assistive technology affordable. We just, there's ways we can make things work and massage them till they do. And I think with the way we're going now, we'll have some extra money that we can use for those students that have special needs. So I'm working with Donna to figure out what we can
That'd
get.
be
Yep.
excellent. I mean, I'm already just so impressed with all the technology the kids are using. My 10th grade son has a project now in social studies, and I asked him, so where do you have these notes? He's supposed to get 40 facts, and he's already got 8. I said, so where are the 8 facts? And he says, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, are they in your notebook, on a computer? He said, they're in Evernote. I said, well, where's Evernote? He said, it took him a while. I figured out it's an account. He has an account, and he has a password, and he can access it
Use a
from any.
OneDrive, yeah.
I mean, I just didn't know that, the kids were organizing themselves that way and had all that and knew how to use all that and were so, familiar with it, and
We're organizing the same thing with
You're
teachers.
already-
We're creating online storage for them, because the storage in the building is useless to them. When they go home, they can't use it. They've got this wonderful laptop they can go wherever they want with, but if we pull that in the cloud, we have 2 ways of doing it. Drive, which is a Google product, we have Dropbox, which is another product, and OneDrive, or Sky, which used to be SkyDrive for Microsoft, which they've now let out for education use for free also. So we have three free places to store documents and any kind of file and be fine with it.
So my daughter, who's in 4th grade, came home and wanted to work on her project. It's in Google Docs.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, Marion's been doing a lot with the fifth and sixth,
So,
fifth,
you know,
fourth, fifth
I
graders,
said
yeah.
I have to figure out, okay, how to get you there. And I spent some time and I got her there, but I thought it would be really nice if they'd let us know. You know, maybe just send home tips for parents on how to help your child access their schoolwork.
We may have to, admit, it would probably be a good idea to have, because that's part of our
I mean,
communications.
I have
is-
an app,
yeah.
Evernote, but I didn't know that it was something in, you know,
There's lots of
the
things in the
cyber
cloud.
world that
Ways
you
you
can.
can store it. One
yeah.
note can be
yeah.
stored locally or it
You
can
could
be stored in the
access it
cloud.
from
Yeah.
anywhere, like
Yeah.
the same account, the one,
Yeah.
I'm learning, just like we all are.
Well, we'll may need a parent night when we move over, everything over to Google
Something,
Docs.
like I just
so.
thought, because
that's
there
not a
was
bad
a
idea.
little
You
bit
might
of
have
a,
people who'd
you
come
know,
for
it
that.
took a
Yeah.
minute. I
Yeah.
was like, you gotta,
I think that's a great idea. I mean,
Yeah,
at
it's
some
lovely.
point, you know,
It's
maybe,
really-
I don't know when.
Probably next fall, we'll
but-
have to do something, because they're all gonna be storing, students are all gonna be storing things in the cloud next fall.
and then they're gonna come
You know,
home and
help
wanna work on it
parents
at
Oh, we'll
home,
work
and
on
parents
it
are gonna,
Yeah.
learn
when they ask
what
their parents for
kids-
help, and
what
their parents
kids
are
know
like.
and how we can help our kids, and, you know.
Well, maybe
It could be a
they'll
keep
mostly go
technology
themselves, but they'll
expert.
collaborate
They
with
might be
each other
telling you
too.
how to
so.
do certain things.
I was
Right,
thinking.
and some of them will, like, they'll be
Yeah.
teaching us, but some of them, I'm sure, will come home and say, I don't know how to get to this, I don't know where my project
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, especially younger, I don't know.
They pick it
There'll
up
be a help
fast.
desk.
I, maybe,
It is really
Maybe I'm
funny.
wrong.
They're not
that.
afraid of it like we
Yeah.
are, you know, like we don't wanna, yeah, sometimes we don't experiment enough, they do. But,
Right.
you know, our goal is to have teachers and students using technology as a way to work and learn, you know? Where it's appropriate, I mean, we don't want it to be at the expense of the face-to-face interactive process and students communicating with each other and working in groups, but where appropriate, we
Sure.
want them to be in the 21st century, and the only way you can really do that is create an accessibility. You know, if you have one lab in the school and it's being used by the technology teacher, that doesn't afford you much accessibility and opportunity. That's why we wanted to make sure we had portable labs as well as a few computers in the classroom, and as well as, you know, computers in the library that were accessible, you know, because there will be, well, that's the other thing we're working on is, and Wes and his technology group are working on this. How does the job description then of the current technology teachers change, you know, to more of an integration model? And maybe, you know, a combination of, instead of just straight technology teaching, how do we, you know, plan it out in such a way that we utilize our people
Yeah.
to the best advantage we can, so that there are people in the schools that have this level of understanding, so when someone comes and says, hey, I wanna do this project, I'm not sure how to figure this out, you know, there's somebody that can help and guide them. So
Exactly.
we've had several conversations about that, and we'll obviously involve the staff in that discussion, but, this is a major, major milestone to get to this place.
Great.
Yep.
That's great.
It's exciting
Well,
and a
thank you.
big,
Yeah.
big project at the same time. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
been, it's
It's a
been
big
great.
project.
I've really appreciated being able to work on it. It's been a lot of fun.
And so did the
Appreciate it having
technology
you.
committee have a role in pulling this particular plan together?
Yes, we're
or-
working on we're working on revamping the technology plan now, even as we speak. We've got a couple of the goals that gave a couple of folks in teams to work on. I've done some of the infrastructure stuff, but we are revamping with that technology plan. In January, I'll be back before the board here to tell you where we're at. It'll be a draft version, but it'll be
Right.
essentially most of the way there, I feel, by January. That's only a month away.
Right.
So I think we'll be in good shape. We've gotten a lot done already, and we've only been working on it for a month.
And
So-
when is the next meeting? Is that?
When did you have me in
I don't know, you had one today, right?
January? No, when did you have me back
Oh,
in again?
oh, you're
The technology.
oh, you know,
Oh, technology meets the first Thursday of every month at 3:15.
Oh, that's
And
easy.
please, if you
Okay.
want to join us, please do.
Thank
Love
you.
to have you. The only exception to that is January 2nd, the school's closed, so we'll have it the first Thursday after that. But all the other meetings will be the first Thursday of the month.
And where are they?
They're at the high school in Liz Marchetti's lab, which is just behind the
yeah, this-
library.
right next to the library. So, Wes will come back anytime you want him to come back, but his our intention is to have him come back at the end of the year, because then he'll actually have a draft of the technology
Yeah, I should have a
plan,
draft by then, yep.
ready.
That's great.
Today, I wanted him to come before you because we had finished our discussion on this, and I don't want us to be unveiling anything the school committee hasn't had a chance
Sure.
to be aware of, so.
This is awesome.
So,
Thank you.
Wes
It
was
is.
great, gracious
Excellent
enough to
work.
come tonight.
Excellent.
Any other questions? We're all set?
Looks great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wes.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, now we have the financial report.
So Laura had included 2 invoices.
Yep.
But I have more invoices, because I got a rather substantial invoice from Quirk, because it's a good chunk of the turf cost. So the turf total is gonna be $445 or whatever, so part of this invoice is $338,000 for the turf. So, and I have my last invoice from Green Seal, the last days. I was supposed to bring that before you on November 6th, and we didn't have the meeting, so, and then the second warrant I have is for the first payment to the architect on the Pearly Roof project, both CPC funds.
Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion to approve the amount of $450,749.60. Do I have to do these separate?
No, you can just do for the turf field
Okay,
project.
for the turf field project as presented.
So moved.
Second.
And these are all within the,
All expected.
Oh, yeah, I'll accept it.
Yep, any discussion?
That's a big one. It's better as expected.
But that's gonna conclude it though, right?
No.
There's one more from Quirk?
Quirk, yeah, we'll get another one. They only billed us $330
Oh,
something for the
okay.
turf.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
So you need us to sign this?
Yes, please. I have copies if you wanted to.
Oh, you want all of us to sign?
At least 3, yeah.
Okay.
I do have copies if you want to take a copy home. For your pleasure reading.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve invoice 222567 in the amount of $2,281 to CBI Consulting for the Pearly roof.
So moved.
Second.
All in, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So that's moving along good.
Right, that will go out to bid after the first of the year, and then the construction will start as soon as school gets out.
And in the notes, it says that the turf is under budget?
Under budget right now. It's about
That's-
$47,000 under
That's
budget.
great.
But now there are a few things that
Sure.
they might want to do. Like, for example, that doesn't include the cost of installing the scoreboard. So you know the bank's gonna make a donation for the board.
Correct.
But we still have to get it installed. So that, some of that money will, will come out. So there's a few things. But,
Do we have a
right now-
date that it might be finished?
well, I mean, they told me when I was over there yesterday that, I thought they were gonna start next week doing the fill, but they're doing it today, so.
Is the fill the big white, the
Those
fill's
big-
in those big white
That's right,
things,
that's right, so there's sand, and then there's those little, they're tiny.
Yeah, the little tiny,
Yeah,
I get them in my
rubberized.
house all the time.
Oh,
when the
that's what the
play
kids
indoor.
were telling me, that they get them on their,
So do they
cleats, I guess.
vacuum them in? Do they like,
there's a machine,
okay, and it just,
and we're gonna get a machine, so they'll be able to groom it and take care of it, and.
they've been working crazy
Oh, yeah, to
hours
see the
now,
lights
like-
around, yeah, well, that's because they
Which is
wanna
great.
finish it, yeah, they wanna finish. But
The
I
question
wouldn't be
is really
surprised
when
if,
the senior parking lot is gonna be available.
well, as soon as I think after they remove all the stuff that's there now, I think they're doing was a skim coat or something. There's something, it's not a full, repaving of the parking lot, but there's something they're going to do. And then that would probably be,
So.
I mean, it would be great, it would be great if, you know,
Okay, so they had to pave the parking lot?
it's not paving, it's like some kind of skim coating thing, but there,
Well, because they have to reline the some of the parking spaces, because
they do,
we have to
because-
take some.
yeah, exactly. There'll be
So-
3 parking spaces less,
Right.
3 less parking spaces. So I don't have the answer to that, but I'm guessing that, you know, maybe again, looking at something like maybe after the Christmas holiday, you know, it might be possible, but, you know, I obviously have to talk to some other people about that, but that would be my guess.
That's a likely scenario,
Yeah.
okay.
So as you mentioned before the meeting about the students wondering about that,
Yes.
either a G or a Lancer in the middle of the field, so can we look into that?
Yeah, I definitely will mention that, to Lindsay and to John and Mark in the group. Because I don't know what that involves, I don't know if you literally can, create a template and spray it on there, you know, I don't know. I know you can paint additional lines on it, but I don't know the process, and I think if you're gonna embed it, then it would definitely involve, you know, sewing it in,
Could be
doing
very
all that, but
pricey, yeah.
but, yeah, but, you know, and if it can't be done like now, it might be a project that we put on the docket, but we'll see. I'll definitely look into it, I'll send an email off tomorrow and see what we find out about
So the
that
meeting that went on yesterday there
in the morning.
was good, like everybody was happy
Yeah,
with the progress. and-
everybody was happy, you know, they wanna set up a maintenance meeting, I was talking to Mike about it today, you know, to anybody who might be working on the field, they do, part of this is they do a training, they're showing them how to put up certain things and take down certain things, like there's a big net behind the goal post, and they were putting it up today, only to take it down, but they're going to, cause you won't leave it up for the winter, but they're gonna show the people who are gonna be responsible for taking it up and down, how to do that. So that comes with the cost of the project. So we just have to figure out who we wanna invite to that meeting and then schedule the time.
And would
But-
the scoreboard be put up like closer to, you know, like this
Well, I
spring,
think they have to figure out the funding of it, you know, and, I think John Pingree is working with the bank in terms of the timing of ordering the scoreboard and all of that kind of thing. So, yeah, so maybe it does make sense maybe to do it in the spring, but I don't know, I don't think we're gonna have a staff meeting, and I think there'll be some discussion about that there.
And we can take a look at the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm, yeah, the design, yeah. The one I saw, the mock-up I saw was really nice,
Really?
so. It's pretty exciting.
It is exciting. I think the kids are getting more excited now.
They are,
because
now they see it, yeah. No, the kids when I came out, I had a nice conversation with all the kids on the stairs that were waiting after basketball practice, and they were really excited about it. It's a big deal for Georgetown.
It is a big deal. It's gonna look nice.
And doesn't that space look so much bigger to you? Like when I stand there, I'm like, it looks so, but then you realize that, you know, they have remember the whole corner had all kinds of woods in it, so I mean, everything is pushed back.
Push back.
Yeah.
And, it's just field, you know, so, and then Mike's still got 2 or 3 sets of bleachers that they have that are in the garage from the insurance, that he hasn't put together, and why would they? They don't need them, so the existing bleachers that they they've put now over into the area, but when we go to use the field, there'll be much more bleacher space, because we'll have 2 or 3 bleachers that they'll set up as well. So if you haven't had a
exciting.
chance to go by, it really is pretty impressive.
Okay. Subcommittee reports. Budget and finance is not met.
Do we have to approve the John Deere, or was that included?
That was part of, thank you. Oh,
In the lot?
Yeah, those were included.
Yeah,
in
that
the
was
total.
Included in the other ones, okay.
thank you. So budget and finance hasn't met.
Nope.
Do you have a meeting scheduled?
I think we threw some dates out there. I don't think we've got one scheduled.
I don't think so.
Okay. Governance met tonight?
Yes, we just met, and we started out with the meal charging policy, and the rewording has been done, and so we will be distributing we approved, it looks fine to us, so it'll be distributed first on, December 18th to the school committee. And then the first reading will be on January 8th, and the second reading, and vote will be on January 22nd for approval. It'll be effective after February vacation, and we'll be communicating it and putting it on the blog, putting it up on the website, probably snail mailing it. We'll be definitely letting the public know what it means for them. The next policy we talked about was the concussion policy, and we established that, yes, we do have JLCDA, but there is another policy, JJIF and JJIFR, that Mask has suggested that we do not have. The Health and Wellness Committee did put together, with very helpful parental input and operational policy about returning students with concussions to academics. So now we're gonna take all 4 of those going forward. I'm going to email them, and, we're gonna try to see what kind of overlap there was and what we should end up with from a school committee policy perspective, and then we'll move forward with that. The last policy we looked at was the domestic violence policy. And it's suggested by Mask in response to new legislation. And we decided that we need to ask Naomi to tell us if this policy is consistent with the Massachusetts Family Leave Act, is that?
Family medical leave, yeah.
Family medical, right, MFLA, and Massachusetts law. And if so, then we will distribute it to the school committee for approval. Okay, can you think of anything
no,
else? That's it? Okay.
Negotiations meets, next Wednesday. Public relations.
We have not met since the last school committee meeting. We're working on a communications plan policy, which is now on Google Docs. So that's what we'll be doing when we don't have a date for the next meeting.
Safety, you already met.
We meet next Thursday.
What about the school building?
We have not met since the last school committee meeting. Our next meeting is on December 9th, so that is very soon, Tuesday.
And I know you'll send us your notes.
Yes, indeed, I will.
Thank you. CPAC?
CPAC, the next meeting will be February 4th, and it will be a special education law boot camp with Shelby Walker Esquire
And where will that be?
at Pembroke Library.
Did I see something that came out on college planning or something? Is that?
That's,
Oh, that's with the
yes,
PTA.
that's the PTA. There's one Monday. The PTA has
They're the gen.
a presentation, but with a financial college
Advisor.
Okay, so it's
advisor
PTA, okay.
at the public library.
Do you know when that is, the date is? I know I have it at home, but
It's the 8th.
December, so
Yes.
Monday?
December
Monday.
8th? Monday?
Yes, because
A lot going on.
Wednesday, there's one from the school, the guidance department on financial planning, college financial planning. And they also have an expert coming in, from the government agency, the
Probably should've
FASFA
coordinated that.
people. So it's a big week for college financial planning, which is, you know,
Just
you
in time for the
can't,
holidays to
you-
talk about
Yeah,
college
you
money.
can't be too prepared, you really
No, you
can't,
can't
you know,
be.
And that's Wednesday night?
yes,
Okay.
and I will be at both of those.
I bet you will.
Vested interest.
Indeed.
Okay, the new business, we have to talk about returning the, funds to the town.
Right. So as I explained to you in the notes, I think, we were the recipients of $25,000 that was appropriated, in the discussions you probably recall last year when we were talking about full-time technology director. There was a number of discussions about not being able to fund a full-time director, and perhaps we needed to wait a year. And in the meantime, why don't we do an assessment so that we could determine what we really need? Well, obviously, you know, fast forward, we were able to convince the finance committee and, you know, ourselves that we needed a full-time technology director now, and that one of the functions of the technology director would be to create a technology plan. So while we're I think we're all very grateful to the town for appropriating that money, you know, it does seem prudent to me that now that we have Wes on board and we see that he is moving forward with the technology plan, that we, you know, graciously thank the town and then, you know, say, you know, we need you to take your money back. Because I'm sure they can put it in, free cash, I'm sure there, you know, other town needs. So, you know, it just seems appropriate to do that as part of the, now, because then they can factor it into the budget discussions that they have. So I'm just recommending that you,
Very nice thing to
Return
do. Is it
it
unprecedented?
seems to be the right
I-
thing to
it-
do. No, I think, you know, when we did the boiler, when Terry was here, we did the boiler, you know, it came in less expensive than the original estimate, and we returned that to the town. You know, there've been a couple of other situations where, you know, if we didn't need the money, we
We
returned it.
returned it. Okay.
And in this case, you know, it'd be one thing if we were going to, use it as part of our development of the plan, but it, you know, the spirit of it was an outside consultant would come in and do an assessment, and if, you know, obviously if we have our own person doing it,
Right.
you know, at some point, you know, if we feel we need somebody else, and, you know, we could revisit it again, but I think right now it doesn't make sense to have the money sitting there when we don't intend to use it for the
Well, and
purposes
when the
that it was
town- when
originally
Sure could
appropriate, and
use
the town could use the money, so.
Okay, so the chair will entertain a motion to return the $25,000 to the town of Georgetown for funds not expended from the district operating budget for the cost of hiring an outside technology consultant.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, we'll notify the town that, in writing that we're doing that.
Okay. All right, there is no reason, for an executive session this evening, so, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:15 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, thank you.
Good night.
Wow, those would be easy.
Very good.